can we use music to interrupt people's lives and connect with them and bring them back to those things that make us human, connectivity and of wonder and spontaneity and surprise. And those are all things that are intrinsically human.
It was different. I mean, and it was something that people were not used to seeing.
That was community building and could draw together elements of the community that otherwise wouldn't be together.
A day of events happening all over Anchorage, outside, a whole bunch of different events happening simultaneously.
A gathering to celebrate Anchorage's centennial.
It was designed to take a public space and transform it for a purpose.
Urban Conflux sort of described the thing that we were trying to do, which was to get a lot of people together for a cause that they wouldn't necessarily know the reason for. And Conflux has, without really coming out and saying it, it does sort of imply a convergence.
To run an experiment to see, will people follow a musician who asks them stop doing what they're doing and come along to see what they have got going, because they have something up their sleeve, follow me and come and do music with us together.
We have the walk.
Invitations were sent out to organizations and groups all over the city, asking them to host events, dog walking events and roller skating events and enthusiasts of all kind. And the organizers of these events were in on the secret that what they were hosting was a mock event, and that at some point during their event, a musician would come moving through and invite them to participate. And to get on a bus and follow them and see where they end up going to.
We had the slow roll and then we had the Spinard tour.
Yeah.
The Off the Chain Bicycle Collective did the slow roll, and they used, all their funky bikes, and they dressed up, and kids dressed up, and
Yeah, we had a choir, a male choir that sang, and then we had a girl playing guitar on rollerblades, and she was rollerblading next to them, and the choir, the boys were singing, they were on the choir, and it sounds beautifully.
the event would go for about 30 minutes, and then a musician would interrupt.
Yeah.
And it just took the event off to Town Square Park. They knew that the event had changed and that it was something that they hadn't signed up for,
But it wasn't changing so much that they got kind of mad, right?
No, not at all.
It was basically a natural...
everybody was thrilled.
Yeah, and it was like kind of...
Everybody was giddy about it.
It added something extra to what they already thought was going to be a nice thing. I think that was one of the main thing, We don't want to go into a doctor's office and say, no, you can't have your operation because you got to come down and play the guitar in the town square. That would have been like a really interesting experiment, right? But we didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
No, we didn't do that. Right.
And part of the reason we put all these cameras all over town to capture these events was because you couldn't be in two places at once. you had no ability, even we couldn't see what was really going on.
So, the whole idea was that everything is converging on town square.
Yeah.
And it's making music as it's doing it. And that also what we did with the buses.
We just thought that it was so obvious that music should be on the buses. And we just thought it would be like a really easy, natural fit.
Oh, really?
There was a gentleman who got up and started singing along, and Kat and I were two members of the band who improvised pretty well. So we kind of broke into like an improvised kind of funky jam, and he got up and started doing this like soul gospel singing thing, and we just rolled with it, and we had the whole bus singing along and clapping, and it was it just reminds me of how important music is, and I think to be a part of something so spontaneous with music, it really strips back. Do you see the real value of music and performance for not only the performer but the audience too? So it was really special. When we arrived, at the bus depot downtown, it was our job to invite them off of the bus and to come have an experience outside of what they were expecting.
It was cool to see just like who was getting off the buses. But I remember Kevin Morrell had his upright bass he had a peg at the post at the bottom had a wheel on it. And so he was actually just like, he got off the bus with this upright bass and was like wheeling it while he was playing it.
And then being that in the square and seeing the combination of Laura's and my work, that was really cool.
There were speakers reading parts of Anchorage history to celebrate the Centennial. There was a performance by the Anchorage Symphony. There was an avant-garde music project that used data from GPS coordinates on the buses to create musical to create music that the symphony played along with in real time. It was a spectacle.
I led basically anybody who wanted to participate in Town Square in a drum circle playing the samba percussion piece that I wrote.
We'll start with PJ's group on tambourines, and then we'll go with Steven's group on the shakers, and then all the bells too with Lloyd Corliss, and then all of the surdos here with Erica.
Suddenly in come this group of like 15, 20 sort of red glow, half sweaty people who were in the middle of this jazzercise or fitness for fun or whatever, some exercise group that they were doing in front of City Hall. And they had been interrupted by a drummer and a sax player and some other people, and they were sort of still sweating and, like half coming out of the gym. And they were coming down the stairs and just sort of looking around, what is going on? And sort of getting into it.
Another collaborator was Visit Anchorage, and they were sort of late to join, but when they did join, they decided that they wanted to hand out kazoos. So they were handing out kazoos all day, and a lot of them showed up in Town Square Park later.
And then amidst all those planned things there were also a trove of musicians down in the square, taking it all in, taking part in it, singing along, it was really something to behold. It was cool.
One thing that I thought was really cool was when they brought out some of the instruments for other people to play, like they had some vibes and they had a few other instruments out there, some drums. It was just kind of cool seeing that other people from the community that had some kind of ability to play those instruments who just came out and just messed around on it.
And you have thousands of millions of soap bubbles floating around in the air, and kids and adults and everyone sort of just playing. Those bubbles just added this surreal kind of joyful vibe that both looked really good on pictures and film afterwards, but also felt at the time sort of, sort of a little sort of surreal thing. So that was really fun.
Collectively, I think there's that experience of spontaneity and wonder, especially at the point where they have that realization that there's a bigger thing going on.
The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about it was joy. And there's, these days you can tell people are happy with what's happening when all the cell phones pop up. So there was a bunch of, videoing and cell phones happening and people calling people and saying, listen to this, we're on the bus. And
We thought it would tap into something that would be the essence of what we think we're trying to create more of here in Anchorage.
we can really get some big ideas about any large project. And it doesn't have to be a creative arts project. It could be some other large project that seems overwhelming and impossible.
The benefit is, just seeing that we're willing to do something different. Because a lot of times, you typically see a lot of the same type of events that go on every year. You have the fair, every year you have Ferrande, every year you do this or that. But with this project, you don't see that too often. We've, to the best of my knowledge, People Movers hasn't participated in something of this sort.
People were so taken aback, but so pleasantly surprised by what was happening.
I think the thing about surprise is that it puts you in the moment, and you cannot help but experience the thing that's in front of you.
If you're willing to have your schedule interrupted, then that's a statement of what's important to you. And this seemed important enough for people to stop what they were doing and partake.
Can you be tapped into using music? And is our city responsive to that?
Well, Anchorage is a place that actually has a lot of support for arts and funding. It's a community that sort of has an identity. What we don't have is the steady, ongoing obviousness around enjoying art in public places that you get in many other cities I've been to, and I would say most other cities.
There's 300,000 people in this town. There is plenty of support for music. It's just we're not quite there yet. We don't have this machine working well yet.
I actually recently moved here from Denver about 3.5, 4 years ago, and there's a street in Denver called 16th Street, and they have a piano set up in the middle of the street where musicians just come and play, and you see people on the sax on the street. You just don't see that a whole lot here, which was really intrigued me about this project, is that you're gonna have musicians riding the bus. So, kind of made you feel like you're in New York in the subway. You got someone playing the sax, singing, you got some dudes harmonizing, doing that kind of stuff on the subway, and it's kind of cool to see that happen on People Mover, and I'm kind of glad we're a part of that.
I think a lot of people are going to remember it for a long time. I think it brings people together in the planning of it.
Tremendous collaboration. I don't think I've ever seen such a complex or sophisticated collaboration before. It was thrilling to be a part of it. I look forward in 10 years to hearing about a wave of community organizers, artists and creatives, young, politically minded or active people say that, they made their beginning because they saw this event occur. They were a part of this event. I know that I've got transformative experiences in my young life, and I really look forward to hearing that. I know I'm going to hear it.
It connected a lot of people, and it connected people over kind of a shared history and love of our town.
We're only 100 years old. We've just hit adolescence. We want to be one of the great winter cities, and that's in our future. It's just, it's a matter of trying to ask the right questions and try to be the people that we want to be. singing outside despite the weather. 'Cause we all can see the best things in life are free. We all come and go. Time doesn't ever seem to slow. Let's all drink wine together, sipping outside despite the weather. 'Cause we all can see the best things in life are free. It all comes and goes. Time doesn't ever seem to slow. Let's all grow together, sipping outside despite the